Welcome back to Dagryffyn Hobby. My name's Dave. Today I'm going to be talking about the Erie Alco 2032s from 1952 to 55? Somewhere in that range, early to mid 50s. These came as a AA set with one unit being powered and the other not. So a powered unit and a dummy unit. And I was thinking what it would be like to have a dual motored unit like one of the F units or like the Trainmaster. And how would that work? Could I fit two motors into one shell, or would I have to have two motored units together? The easy answer would be to have two motored A units, lock them both in one direction and just use them that way. That's too easy. Besides, I don't want to not be able to go neutral and then reverse. I wanted to be able to utilize it like it was one engine. So let's take a look at the process and see how they do running. What I have is two power units and a dummy. And I had started this project quite a long time ago where I wanted to be able to use two powered units together off of one E unit, or use the two power units separate with their own E units. So I'm putting this back together, rewiring everything, and then we'll see how it works. The way this is going to be wired is essentially like any dual motor unit, except there will be a disconnect in there. So I need to wire the E unit to the motor, and then have the other wire go back to the connector for the next engine. I'm using red and white because that is the color in the plugs that I got. Okay, good enough for now. Put them through a little piece of shrink tube just to help keep them together. If you're going to use shrink tube, always make sure you slide down the wire before you go about soldering it. And see, I forgot to put the shrink tube on. I always do that. What a dingleberry. Just unsolder it and start over. Okay, we got one A unit back together. Little cord sticking out the back. That's not horrible. We'll put this guy to the side for now. Okay, this unit's a little different than the other one in that not only will this be wired to run with the other A unit, it also needs to be able to run by itself. And that's why we have some extra wires in here. So since this is the old stuff, I'm just gonna get this out of here. With these coming out the back, I can either plug it into the other A unit or plug it back into itself. That way it will utilize its own E unit. We need to make sure we use the right connector so that we can actually plug it in. So this needs to go to the motor. And this one will go to the E unit. You may ask, does it matter which wire these two wires go to on the E unit? And the answer is no, it has nothing to do with the other engine. When they're run together, we bypass the E unit, so it doesn't matter which way they're hooked up. As long as that one wire is the middle, then we're good. Okay, so the E unit is wired. Then we need to wire the motor. And now is when we need to be concerned about the red and the white wires. Because if we put them the wrong way, when we try to run the two engines together, they will pull opposite. Okay, those wires are secure. So this should be wired properly to run by itself with this E unit, or plugged into the other A unit. So I'm going to finish putting this back together, and then we'll go out to the layout and we'll see what happens. Well, look at that, I did it wrong. So what I did was wire this unit improperly. What I had done was flip the wires. I was thinking that I needed both motors to go the same direction. I don't. I need one motor to go backwards while the other motor goes forwards. So these two need to be switched. Now, if both these motors were facing the same direction, this would be correct. But they're facing opposite directions, so we need to flip the polarity. Okay, I swapped the wires. Need to do that to make sure this motor goes backwards while the other motor goes forwards. So let's go back out to the layout and check it out. A little bit of sparking under that front engine. It must need new rollers, or at least to be cleaned, so I'll have to take a look at that. But there you go, they operate as one. Neutral, reverse, neutral, forward. And there's no worrying about trying to keep the two E units in sync or changing them so they're both in forward and locking them in forward. This way they operate like one motor. And when you want them separate, disconnect the connector, reconnect this, and now you have two separate engines. So now I can run one on each track. And if I want to go back to just running an A unit with a dummy, I've got the other frame, and I can just switch the shell from the motor unit to this unit. So I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. It's more usable this way than with the bigger connectors. Not ideal, and I will probably revisit this again, but I'd call it a success. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it interesting, educational, or just fun. If you have any questions on this project, feel free to let me know in the comments, via email, or on my Instagram. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you next time on dagryffyn Hobby.